everybody, it's happened. Press L, no, press F in the chat. It's officially happened. I am in a reading slump. Oh my god, I don't even know if I put my lipstick on correctly. Oh my god, it's been one of those days. Also, I never know if natural lighting looks better or if the ring light does. Yes, you heard correctly. I am possibly in a reading slump. Yeah, so I don't want to say I'm particularly in a reading slump, but I may be like a reading funk. I haven't picked up a book in a long time. Yeah, so I filmed that super long March TBR for my readathons, and what happened after? I couldn't tell you. Like, I literally couldn't tell you. I just had like no inclination to read or anything, right? And the bad thing is that I wanted to. I feel like, let's get comfortable. Let's talk. I think it's I wanted to. Like, I truly did want to read, but like I would see my like booktube, like my friends on booktube, they were like talking about these wonderful books they found and recommendations. If you like this, you'll love this. And I was like, oh, I'm so inspired to read, right? Because you know, a good booktube video would inspire you like that. And then I would turn to my long stack of piles and I was like, oh my god, I don't want to read anything. Like, I truly don't. And then finally I was like, let me pick up Circe, right? And then I got the most wonderful book in the mail. Thank you so much to the publisher who sent me this. So now we are going to be filming this reading vlog to try and get out of a reading slump. I'm just gonna say reading slump because honestly, it sounds better. So the book that I got was She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I am so excited to read this. Thank you so much, Tor, for sending me this. So when so I got the mail, right? And I was like, oh my god, I got a book mail? Because like sometimes I get book mail, but like I'm always so grateful and I'm always so excited when I get book mail. Like I'm so grateful that I get to do this for fun. You know, I get to literally read books that I've literally been anticipating for fun, for free. Like, what? And so when I got it, I was like, what? I opened it and I was like, what did they send me? And then when I saw it, I was like, are you kidding me? Me? I was like, oh my god. Anyway, so when I saw this, I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I am so excited to read this. I have actually been meaning to pick up a fantasy. That's why I picked up Circe. So this doesn't come out until, I'll leave all the links and everything in the bio for this book. So this one is kind of a retelling, or kind of not a retelling, but like a gender swap thing. Okay. A gender swap story, like Mulan. So I've already to like chapter 3 or 4. I'm reading a chapter 9. This is getting me out of my reading slump. Literally, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I'm inspired to read. Like, I actually want to read. And I did. I read that night. I was like, hallelujah. So this follows our main character. She doesn't really have a name, and she lives in like the 14th century China, 1300s China. And they are right now, China in this time period is under the control of the Mongols. Yes. And they are basically like a pretty much broken country, right? Because there's like famine, there's uprisings, there's rebellions, a lot of people are dying. And in her village, the girls, she suffers from famine. Basically, like, everybody is dying in her little village because there's no food, there's basically no water, and it's looking pretty bleak. And the girl lives with her brother and her dad, and they don't really care for her just because she is a girl, and in this time period, obviously sons are revered. And it is her brother's Chagbra. It is Zhu Chagbra's birthday, and her father takes her and her brother to the fortune teller to see what their fates are. The father takes the brother, and then the sister just tags along to the fortune teller to see what their fates are. And the girl obviously is not going to get her fate told because she's a girl. And the son, when the fortune teller like touches him, you know, like grabs his arm and like reads him, decides that he is going to be this great person. He goes on his knees and like bows before the father and it's like, I'm so grateful that you came into my tent because in the future I'm going to say that I knew you and your family and your son. And so the dad's like, whoa. And so the dad and the son leave, and then the girl's like, what's my fate? And then the fortune teller's like, nothing. So basically, yeah, so that's like a little like premise. Like she's basically like in a really bad place. Like there's really much no hope for her. Like obviously like nothing's in her future. And then her brother dies for some reasons. And she realizes that she can either stay in the village or die. She can stay in the village, die, or she can travel to this monastery and live. And a monastery obviously are monks, males. And so when she gets there, she assumes the role of her brother. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like that's the premise. Like she assumes the role of her brother, kind of like, you know, Mulan. And yeah, and I think she gets like wrapped up in like this, from what I tell in the Goodreads summary, I think she gets wrapped up into this like rebellion or this uprising from the peasants against the Mongols. And I think she's so basically she's the one who's gonna bring greatness to the country. So yeah, so I'm really excited. Like I said, so far it's really good. The history is kind of giving me, obviously I don't want to compare the two. The way that it weaves history into the plot is kind of reminding me of how the Poppy War did it. Again, I'm a history major, so one of my majors is history. So I love that. I love that. So I love the writing, the atmospheric writing. It literally feels like I'm there. I'm already like attached to the characters. Like I really love this book, and it's gonna get me out of my reading slump. It is. I know it. I'm not to jinx it, but it is. So you guys are like, okay, so it's a reading vlog for this? No, we have 2 more books. I did a little poll on Instagram to ask what arcs I should read. So one poll I did was The Luck of the Titanic by Shelley Lee, and the other one was The Chosen and the Beautiful, I think. And that one, so the first one is about the Titanic. They're both by Asian authors. The first one is about these 2, I think, Chinese entertainers or Chinese acrobats who are on the Titanic the night that it sinks. And the second one is, I think, another gender swap retelling of The Great Gatsby. And then in the second poll I asked was between The Taking of Jake Livingston, which is by a Black author, and A.S. King's Switch. I think A.S. King is, I don't know, it's just weird stuff, right? Because like it's like Dick that's in there. There's just a weird story. I don't know what it's about, but I just know it's weird. And then Taking of Jake Livingston, I think it's like about this boy. I don't know if he's dead or if he can see ghosts, but it's basically like a spooky like thriller kind of thing. So as of right now, The Taking of Jake Livingston is winning, and The Chosen and the Beautiful is winning. So I think those are the ones that I'm going to be reading, but obviously when I get to that portion of the reading vlog, I will be telling you guys what I think. Oh my god, I'm already at 10 minutes. I took a lot. So yeah, so that's basically my reading vlog. I don't know how long it's going to go for. I have something big due for law school, my legal writing class. I have a case brief due on Sunday, but I am pretty much right now on top of my schedule. Like I'm really time managing stuff. So I'm gonna be reading my other 2 books. I will be vlogging it, and maybe I'll do some other stuff like with my life. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so I'm really excited because like I said in my previous reading vlog, I actually really like making this kind of video just because they're really easy to make, and so far that's been getting like good feedback from people. So I'm like, people really like my reading vlogs. So yeah, so I will see you guys soon, hopefully. Again, I think I'm gonna do a similar style like my previous reading vlog, for sure at the end, obviously for sure in the beginning and the end, and then maybe like pretty sure for the 50% mark, and then maybe in between. Like also, like I said, I don't really like giving updates when there's no updates to be given, just because I feel like that's boring. So yes, that is it for right now. And my grandma just started cleaning, so perfect time for me to go. I will see you guys. Stop doing finger guns. Natalie, you're not Michael Scott. Okay, bye. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I did not pick up anything yesterday. My anxiety was just not having it. I was just not concentrating. Like I didn't even concentrate really on my homework that I had to do, like my lectures and my case brief I had to write. it was just not good. Yeah, so I did not read anything yesterday, sadly, but I feel much better today. So we're gonna change the game plan. So I got my Taylor Swift cardigan today. So but yeah. Okay, so you're like, okay, so what do you have to update? My poll ended, so now I can tell you guys which 2 arcs I'm gonna read, and I just now understand that this is basically going to be an arc reading vlog. So the one between the Luck of the Titanic, or Luck on the Titanic, and the Chosen the Beautiful one. And this one is, we have this, our main character, Jordan Baker. She grew up in one of the most rarefied circles of 1920s American society. She has money, education, and invitations to one of the most exclusive parties. But she's also queer, Asian, adopted, and treated as an exotic attraction by her peers, while the most important doors remain closed to her. So this is Nevo's debut novel, and she reinvents the classic, The Great Gatsby. And yeah, so I'm really excited to read this one. Again, I'm really kind of happy that this one won, just because this is one of my most anticipated books to be released this year. So I'm really, really excited to start it. And then the other one that won was The Taking of Jake Livingston. And this one, we have our main character. This one says Get Out meets Danielle Vega in this YA social thriller where survival is not guaranteed. Amazing, show-stopping. So we have Jake Livingston, and he is one of the only Black kids at his school preparatory, and one of the other ones is his infinitely more popular older brother. So he has trouble fitting in, but he can also see the dead. Sure. He sees the dead all the time. And most are harmless, just they're stuck in their death loops, classic pop culture stuff. They just relive their deaths over and over again, and they don't really interact often with people. But then Jake meets Sawyer, and he is a troubled teen who shot and killed 16 kids at a local high school last year. I'm touching my hair a lot, I'm so sorry. At a local high school last year before taking his own life. So now he's a powerful vengeful ghost, and he plans to include his afterlife plans include Jake. So basically everything gets thrown out the window when Sawyer gets introduced into his life. So his high school soon becomes a survival game. So I'm excited to read that one. So yeah, so those are the other 2 books I'm going to be reading in this reading vlog. Again, I'm actually going to start reading soon. What do I have to do today? I need to write my arguments section of my case brief, and then I need to include some of my citations for other cases into that. And then I am going to read. Wow. Oh, maybe I'll listen to a lecture. Maybe I'll catch up on some of my lectures, and then I'm going to read. So I will for sure read this tonight, and hopefully maybe I can finish this book tonight, but I have a 9 a.m. class tomorrow, so we'll see. So yeah, so that is it for my little update. Very short, very quick. I just also wanted to tell you guys kind of, where the hell are there so many planes? I also want to tell you guys what the plots were going to be for the books that I'm going to be reading, the arcs, because I feel like that will make the other clips shorter, because you guys will have already seen this and you guys will know what I'm talking about when I start talking about these books. Okay, I will see you guys hopefully soon. My next update would probably be tomorrow, just because I'm probably going to go to sleep after I read tonight. So yeah, okay, I'm back. So I just wanted to do a very quick update and tell you guys that I am in love with this book. I think it is amazing. I think it is show-stopping. I love everything about this. I can't really tell you guys much because it is an arc. It comes out July 2021, but I am obsessed. I think the writing is excellent. It might not be for everyone though, just because it's very dense and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's hard to read, but there are times when I have to slow down because I'm a fast reader. I'm a fast reader. I need to slow down to kind of not only understand, but process what the author is trying to tell me, but their words are just so rich, because we're literally like, the way that the author paints a picture of 14th century China, and we're able to not only see obviously like the war scenes and everything, like battle scenes, but we also get to see like the way that the author paints like everyday life, and the way that they are painting the sufferings and the just painting a picture of of like a snapshot of 14th century China, and it is amazing. The characterization, the characters, I am loving them, like as in like I'm getting attached to them. I'm actually like gasping, or I'm feeling bad, or I'm happy when things happen to them. And I think that's great. I love that. You know, I'm a character-driven story kind of girl. I love it. I think it's really good. The pacing is excellent. I don't feel like it's lagging. I don't feel like it's going too fast. I think it is just right. So I'm like around 40% and 45, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna give this 5 stars. Like, it is so good. It is literally pulling me out of my reading slump, and I'm amazed. So yeah, so I can't wait to finish reading this. I highly recommend this because it says that it's the Mulan meets Song of Achilles, and if you like the Poppy War, if you like Song of Achilles, if you love like rich history, character-driven books, I like politics and war and like that, I think you'll love this. And I love that we're actually getting some history lessons about ancient China into this, like woven into the plot, because we get to see how heaven and fate and reincarnation and religion and beliefs play into literally like the very core of people. Like, they are so in tune with that side of their life and who they are as a person. It's so cool. Like, I just love ancient Chinese history. I feel like that part in time is so, it's just rich of stories and rich of people, like rich like stories of people, of empires, of dynasties, of everything, you know, like new technologies, like I like confusion, like just so many new interesting and literally like world-changing things that were introduced in that time period. I love it. So I'm obsessed. So I'm really, really excited to finish reading this. I'm probably not going to update until I'm done. But so far it's really, really good, and I highly recommend this. Hello. It has been a week since I last updated you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not expect law school to be this crazy. I don't know why I planned a reading vlog right now, but I did finish this last night, yesterday afternoon, and I'm giving this 4.75 stars. I can't really give this 5 stars because for the pacing issues. The beginning and the ending was amazing, right? But the middle, when they were setting up, I guess, like the plots, right? So when they were recovering from what happened in the beginning and they were setting up for what was going to happen at the end, the pacing there was a little bit off. I just felt like it was dragging a bit. There was some parts where I just didn't care, and that's a little bit harsh, but yeah, I just felt like it could have either sped up or they could have been written differently. I'm not sure. This is a very, very dense book. There are a lot of descriptions. There are big words, like as dumb as that sounds. There are a lot of just there's a lot of complex ideas and characters and just the writing, but I highly recommend it. I feel like if you actually take the time to get into the story, you'll love it. The ending was amazing. The plot twist, I gasped. There's this one scene with 2 of the main characters, because there's like 4 main characters. It's like alternate points of views. There's this scene with 2 main characters that I literally was like, there's angst. So the one storyline, so basically our two main characters are Zhu and Oyang. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The general, I'll just call him the general. So we have Zhu and the general. I didn't really care for Zhu. Like, see, that sounds mean. I don't want to say that I didn't care for it, but maybe in comparison to the general's storyline, I felt like I was more interested in the general storyline. Maybe because the general storyline was very like, he's a really great character, and I love great characters, and it was just more angsty, and I'm an angsty you-know-what. But yeah, there's just one scene with the general and this other like secondary character. The angst, the heartbreak, I couldn't believe it. Like, it haunted me. After I finished the book, I was like for an hour afterwards, I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, I can't believe I read that. It was really good. I highly recommend it. I think that you guys should pick it up when it's out. I think that especially if you're a big fantasy lover, you'll love this. I don't really think it's a good stepping stone or like a beginner's for like adult fantasy. If you're mainly into a like young adult fantasy, I feel like you should start off with something else just because this is a very adult fantasy book. But yeah, highly recommend it. So it was good, and I think it did kind of pick me out of a reading slump because now I'm actually excited to read. So the next clip will be me talking about The Chosen and the Beautiful. Also, I didn't want to take out my lights, so that's why you're seeing me in natural lighting. Okay, hello. I am back. I am 20% into The Chosen and the Beautiful, and I have some mixed feelings about it. So first, when I first was like 10% in, I actually was like, maybe I'm going to DNF this just because it's very much a contemporary novel, and as you can tell on my channel, I don't read contemporaries. They're just not really for me. Like sometimes I will pick up a contemporary if everybody I know is saying that it's like amazing. So I won't pick up a contemporary like just because. Like I will only pick it up if someone I trust tells me that it's amazing, just because I don't like them. Like not to be, you know, not to hate on them, but like I just don't like, they're not for me at all. At all. I just get bored. I don't really care about it. And so that's why I was kind of like, oh, but I don't want to DNF it barely at 10%. I was like, let me power through. And then now I'm at 20% and I'm starting to like it more. I don't know if maybe it's because I kind of got out of the mindset of every book I read has to be a 5-star. Like I can finish this book and give it like 2 stars and you know, it's fine. So I'm starting to like a little bit more just because I kind of took off that pressure from me that I have to give this 5 stars. So essentially, yes, it is a Great Gatsby retelling. We do have all of our main characters, all of our, you know, famous main characters, Gatsby, Nick, Tom, and Daisy. And of course, our main character is Jordan. She is queer, she is Asian, and she is a woman. So, this is also an arc, so I can't really say spoilers, but the writing is probably one of the main reasons why I'm powering through, just because it really is so beautiful. The way that she not only describes Gatsby's, you know, infamous parties, but the way that the way that our author like writes Jordan's inner monologues. I feel like that's important just because we do have, you know, famous characters that people would, you know, they just know. Like obviously everyone knows Gatsby, everyone knows Nick, everyone knows Daisy. And me personally, I was getting, you know, I got excited when I saw like Gatsby's name. I was like, oh, I know that. So I feel like because our author is doing such a great job in writing Jordan, she can rival those famous names. And I think that's so important, especially because Jordan is our narrator. The only thing that I'm kind of like not okay with, but kind of like weary about, is the fact that I haven't read The Great Gatsby since like high school, that the author does this thing where plays with timelines a lot. And so I kind of forgot that like that's a thing, you know. And so I kind of had to force myself to realize that, oh, okay, this is a flashback scene. Oh, this is Jordan describing like her and Daisy's friendship. Oh, this is currently like Jordan at a Gatsby party. So and then the author does a thing where it's like, you know, like when authors write and they're like, oh, like little did we know that was the start of the end or something. So Jordan is kind of writing like, oh, like in those early days, me and Nick. So I'm kind of having to like, it's different. It's definitely different than this basically adult fantasy I just came from. And maybe I should have started with this first. I just totally forgot like everything about The Great Gatsby, like the way that it's written and everything. And I honestly did not think that this was going to be a contemporary. For some reason, I thought this was going to be like a romance. So I don't know. But yeah, so far it's a bit of a mixed feelings. Right now I would give this a 3 stars, but again, I'm 20% in. I don't think I'm going to update this book so much, not because like I don't want to, just because I said this in my previous reading vlogs that I don't want to force myself to have thoughts on something just so I can update. And in this instance, like my opinions on this book is changing so much that I feel like I need to read it really on my own before I can form any coherent thoughts. Because like I said, if I had come on here and updated you guys at 10%, I would have told you guys I hated this book, DNF. But now I'm kind of like, maybe I'll give it a shot. So I don't know if people like that, like seeing really different opinions, like, you know, come out of updates. But again, I don't want to harsh this. I think for this one though, I don't want to harsh it too much too quickly. I know I don't want to criticize it too much too quickly, just because my opinion is changing, and I think that's why I'm not going to update that much. Just because I don't want to come on here and bash it and then like 10 minutes later I'm like, but this is so good, you know, like be consistent, Natalie. But yeah, so what I recommended so far, I feel like if you love contemporary, you love Great Gatsby, you're gonna love this book. But if you're like me who doesn't really read contemporary, I would say you might want to skip this. But the writing is beautiful, so if you are a person who will read, even if you like, you don't really vibe with the genre or something, but you love beautiful writing, you should pick this up. So really it's a mixed bag. Like I said, see, I don't even really know what I'm saying. But yeah, so I will see you guys soon. So I filmed this clip literally like 2 minutes ago, and it's literally me just saying, I don't know how to feel about this book. This book really, I'm like at 90%. It really is just if F. Scott Fitzgerald had, oh, so sorry if the camera is moving a lot. If F. Scott Fitzgerald had literally written Jordan into the story, like it's like everything else is the same basically. Like, I'm not saying that like the writings are the same, I'm just saying that everything else is pretty much the same, just with an added character. So, like, we still have Gatsby and Daisy's forbidden love, we still have Nick and his whole thing with Gatsby, he's still Daisy's cousin. So it's basically just Jordan's life if she was in the Gatsby book. Like, it's literally just that. And there are times where I'm like, oh, I love this. Like, this is gonna be like a 4 or 4.5 stars. And then there are times where I'm like, I don't like this at all. This is gonna be like a 2-star. There's been like some rated R scenes too, where I'm like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about this book. Again, I'm at 90%, so maybe the last 10% will like sway me either side. But so far, I don't know. I know I wasn't going to come on an update, but like, as you can tell, like, I don't have any, like, I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, the writing is beautiful. It really is a contemporary book, and I don't know. Really, really, really undecided about my feelings about this book. And we're back, finally. Last portion of this video. Let's get this reading vlog up. Okay. So I finished The Taking of Jake Livingston, and I gave it 3 stars. And I finally decided on my rating for The Children of the Beautiful. I gave that 3.5 stars. Did I update when I finished it? I didn't. Okay, so let's first talk about The Children of the Beautiful. So my favorite of these 3, first of all, let's just say, was the She Who Became the Sun. I think this is my favorite out of 3 books that I've read. So let's get that out of the way. So The Children of the Beautiful, I gave 3.5 stars. I was very conflicted when I finished it because I wasn't sure if I loved it or if I hated it. Everything I said in the previous clip, I still stand by. I truly believe that if Jordan was in this book that wasn't a Gatsby retelling, I would have loved it. I just think that because we did have these big characters, Gatsby and Tom and Daisy and Nick, I feel like they kind of took away from the story, because there were moments where we were getting some interesting things about Jordan and her life, and then we would cut to like a scene with Nick or Gatsby and Daisy's like forbidden love, and I was like, you're taking me out of the main character's story. Like, I get this is a Gatsby retelling, and of course we do want to know about these, you know, main characters too, but if you're going to sell me on this really like intriguing facet of Jordan's identity, like, let me stew in that. let me actually like think about that, not just cut really quickly into something about Gatsby and Daisy. I didn't really like that, so I truly feel like if this was just a story of Jordan in the 1920s as a Vietnamese female, would have loved it. I also loved the writing. I think there were moments where I truly was, the plot was losing me and I kind of wanted to just stop, and the writing was one thing that kept me going. I loved the rich way that Gatsby's parties were described and the way that Jordan's inner monologues were told to us. I truly felt like it was really, really, really well done, the writing. I didn't like the way that the kind of timeline was presented to us. I didn't really like the back and forth. There were moments where we were in the present, like when Jordan was telling the story, and then we would get flashbacks, and flashbacks were cool, but there were moments where I like didn't, I don't know, it was not that it was confusing, but I just felt like they were unnecessary. So yes, I didn't really like that. Like I said, there was a lot of hits and misses. so that's why I was so conflicted. I was like, should I give this 4 stars? Should I give this 2 stars? So I settled on 3.5. So yeah, so that's Chosen the Beautiful. I feel like this one is going to be either people are gonna love it or people are gonna hate it, and I truly feel like you should go out and read this. Obviously, besides the fact that it is an Asian author, female author, just because it is really beautiful, and there might, you might really love it, but you might also not like it. But it should be up to you to decide that. And then The Taking of Jake Livingston, I give this one 3.5 stars. I'm trying to decide. Okay, so I liked, again, this one was also hit and misses. I liked a lot of stuff about it, but I also didn't really like a lot of stuff about it. But that was more my own personal stuff. That's why I didn't want to give it like 2 stars, because the things that I didn't like were my things. So I love the way that the writing was really good, in that the creepy elements that we were presented, the way that Jake was describing his nightmares, the way that Jake was describing how he could see ghosts, and the ghosts that he was seeing, and the ghouls, and there was some slasher moments where I truly felt like, wow, this is really creepy. Like, I'm kind of getting creeped out. I liked the characters. I really cared for Jake. I actually was invested in this story because of Jake. The things that I didn't like, the things that I didn't like were mainly like plot points. There's this one plot point, this in the synopsis, it's not a spoiler, that is about a school shooting. And right now, I'm not in the, like, again, I've told you guys this a million times. I don't get triggered by anything, but there are stuff that I just rather would not read. And I think after, like, right now, like, what is happening in this world, what is happening in this country, I would choose, like, as of like right now, I don't really want to read anything about school shootings, like any like mysteries, thrillers, anything. Horror. I just don't want to read it. I wouldn't enjoy it. And sadly, that was what was happening here, because there is a subplot, or I guess another plot point, that does have a ghost and a school shooting. And when we see, I don't know how to spoil so much. I don't want to spoil anything. When there was certain chapters with a certain character, and you kind of knew that, oh, this is in the premise, this is in the little synopsis, like this is in the world of the school shooting element of the plot, like, oh, this is what the plot's talking about when they say school shooting. When we get to those chapters, I didn't like it. I truly just didn't like it. I was literally like almost to the point of skimming it. I just didn't want anything to do with it. And I was like, just take me back to Jake and his ghosts and his nightmares. I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. So that's why I didn't really enjoy it as much. And I didn't want to DNF it, just because, again, there were points where I really liked it. And so I knew I was going to give it a good enough rating. But now I know. Like, now I know that I'm not going to do that to myself. If they're not just, school shootings, but like if there's a topic that I don't want to read about in any genre, I'm not going to push myself to do that, just because my mental health, I shouldn't do that to my mental health. So again, I did enjoy it. I feel I'm definitely going to recommend this to people that I know who really love the horror genre. I feel like they're really going to enjoy it. I just didn't like it as much, but that's why I said it's my thing. It's like my personal opinion, because I've seen people on Goodreads who really, really loved it. And as they should, because it is a good book. It's just not for me as of right now. Maybe I'll revisit this later. When it actually releases, I'll probably pick up a copy and actually like get into it. But as of right now, like my mindset, I can't do that. I can't do that to myself. And that's fine. I shouldn't do that to myself. So yeah, so those were the 3 books that I read to try to get out of my reading slump. And today is April 1st. It is officially my birth month. I am officially 23. I thought I was 24 for a second. Oh my God, I would have started crying. 23. I'm 22 right now. Next week, literally April 8th. So I am really excited, because I have something really excited planned for April 8th. Not for April 8th. I have something really excited planned for this month of April. I'm literally going to start filming this right as I finish this. So if you see the next video after this in the same outfit, don't judge me, okay? I'm telling you guys right now, that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this reading vlog was kind of interesting. I recommend all of these arcs. I feel like you guys will like this. There is something for everybody here. I kind of did like a diverse thing. I did something like historical contemporary, I did high fantasy, and I did like a horror book. Wow, look at me. So yes, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay safe. I haven't done my outro in so long. I literally forgot. Stay safe and go read your favorite book for me. Bye.